So a little bit of context is that research has shown that people are credulous creatures who find it very easy to believe and very hard to doubt. So the research has shown that number one, when we read something, we immediately accept it, and the comprehension and the reading and the acceptance as a fact happen together, and then rejection is secondary, and a lot of times we don't do it. So then the research has shown that we default to believing what we hear and what we read to be true. So let me show you my demo. It's honestly very simple, and this demo wouldn't take that long. But essentially, it's an extension. Go look at my API keys. Okay, so it's turned on, and then all you have to do is anything web, you just have to like point and click, and then hit check, and yeah, it'll do its checking. Let me just make sure it's working. Give me 1 second. Okay, so it says here 30 belugas in Canada face being euthanized, and then it's checking. Okay, so it says 90% pass. And then I can be like, where in Canada? Can I hit pass? Okay, so it says that it's in Maryland, near Niagara Falls in Ontario. Okay, yeah, so it fact checks a little bit more. So let's hop back into the presentation. So a little bit of context is that I'm a UX designer at all of the networks. So I'm not a developer, and I just like depended on Cursor and Claude to do this. But in terms of the design principles, I know that this technology exists out there in the world, but I think what really matters is that we keep the user in context, so we don't take users out of the flow, and we make sure that it's fast. So then the main purpose is that we want to make it that it's easy to use and that we use it daily. And then this is the tech stack that I use. Yeah, okay. And then if you guys want to say hi, thank you.
Time for a Q&A now.
Yeah, and if there's Q&A, while you guys are thinking of questions, if you guys know like Brian Johnson on X is like very popular, so you can like fact check him. So the person says like you spend millions and you look like shit. So let's fact check it. This is what it says. Oh, let's make sure it's working. It would be funny if it says it's true. Don't say it's true. Okay, 90% legit, so we all look good.
Let's have some questions. 2 minutes. Do you do facts for multiple tech images?
Oh yeah, I was thinking of like, I mean, if I had more time. Honestly, I started at like 1 p.m. on the call train here. But if I had more time, definitely like for images, it would be really cool. So we can do like point and click and be like AI generated or not. Like, is this a real image or not? And maybe you can like look at metadata or something like that to really figure out.
So you are using AI to check the fact, and many people think that AI is so how do you possibilities?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. So I think it will definitely need to source from different types of like information. So not just like Google, because I'm using Google API, but it should source from a bunch of information. But I think that's an interesting point because our minds work the same as LM in the sense that like if we like give it an information, it immediately accepts it as a fact, the same way that we do. So yeah, there's a lot of work that needs to go into making things factual because honestly, what is factual?
What is one thing that this UX is really good at but still was one thing that you like to do?
Oh, I feel like so much. I think the first thing is like, I mean, as a UX designer, like the input field is like out there. It's like jumping out at me, and I was like trying to fix it. But I think beyond that, I would love to make it in context even more. So, okay, just a quick one. The UI was inspired by what Figma has. So if you type slash and you say something, like I wanted it to be like that. Yeah. So you can like literally point at any point of the internet, and then you can use a tooltip. Thank you.
All right, up next we have Donna. Donna, give it up for Donna. Let's give it up for Donna.